Okay, you've made it. You've made it to the key portion of the program.
This is what you've been waiting for.
This is
hot
what you've been waiting for.
Joe Cronin presser.
It's interesting to me that, remember when, I'm going to punt on that.
All right.
Never mind.
All right.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
You're
I'm making it. Well, I'm making a decision to pivot.
Yeah. All right. Pivot.
And I'm pivoting.
Omaha.
So, yeah. Look, the Blazers. They did not make a trade at the deadline. I don't really know why, but we're going to hear from the GM, who's going to maybe tell us why.
Not really, but all right.
But this GM, Joe Cronin. Look, and I want to be fair to Joe Cronin.
Mm-hmm.
He was just hired, what, 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Was it 2 years?
Right? Yeah.
Wrong?
Well, he was the interim guy, and then
Jim.
he got the full job.
I want to be fair to him because GMs need time.
Mm-hmm. And this is the
But
definition of a rebuild, even though they told us it wasn't.
is anyone prepared for the idea that this guy might be one of the worst GMs in the league? I'm not. You're laughing. I'm not kidding. And again, I want to be fair. There's more time here. They're going to do stuff in the offseason because they have to.
Yeah.
But just listening to him,
it's not inspiring.
Dude, he's the most uninspiring guy of all time.
Yeah.
It makes you.
Well, let's let our audience be the judge.
It makes you want Neil O'Shea back.
I'm not quite where you're at because, again,
I didn't say he was the worst. I just said prepare for the idea that he could be.
We've got to bifurcate those two things.
I think when you look at what he was able to get with Denny and what he was able to get attached to DeAndre Ayton, whatever you think of DA, and getting Kamara.
Not much.
That I think those right now, if you were to say who is on this team 3 years from now that you feel 100% certain, I think the only two guys I can say are Denny and Tumani. And I think both of those guys were had for not much. And so from that standpoint, yeah, the rest of it, I'm with you. So prepared for him to be terrible? No. Prepared for him not to be able to do anything and stuck in the same damn cycle as being the 7 and 8 seed? Yes, that I'm prepared for.
Are you ready?
I'm ready to be. Hold on. Go.
54 seconds. Here is why the Blazers did not make a trade.
Trade deadline 2025 has passed.
Thank you, Tibbs.
I know a lot of fans and probably a lot of people in here prefer a little bit of action. Often we do too. You know, we're always looking for ways to participate in these windows and find guys that can help us be better. But this time around, we just didn't find the value, so we decided to pass. And for us, that's a good thing. We have a group of guys that we're really excited about, a group of guys that, at the start of the season, we wanted to see take big steps, both individually and collectively, and we've seen a lot of that this season. So for us, it's, let's keep going, let's keep building, let's keep getting better day to day, and when this next transaction window hits this summer, we'll see what that entails.
Okay. There you go.
Just rinse and repeat. And by the way, I don't necessarily disagree with a lot of what he said. It's just, I get it. If you're a Blazer fan, it's frustrating as hell that we just get told the same thing over and over.
The hard part is he said, see, I hate it when they say there's just not the value there, because there's really no way
for any of us to know.
There's no way to know what he was negotiating.
Yeah.
So Neil O'Shea always used to do this. Like, well, it just wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, but that's not a good enough answer because we can't judge for ourselves.
Yeah.
So what we're supposed to just take your word for it? I mean, to me, what I'm starting to hear is that not enough value there means you're not a good enough negotiator. That's what that means.
You could view it that way.
Because of course teams are going to call you and not offer you a lot the value that you want.
By the way, you don't have a lot that's particularly valuable.
Well, I mean, Jeremy Grant's a good player.
Yeah.
I mean,
Robert Williams should have value.
Yeah, Robert Williams have value to
just get picks for those guys, whatever you can get.
I don't know. To me, and this is a total oversimplification, and I know that, but I just don't think the NBA is all that complicated. There are haves and have-nots, and there are alphas and non-alphas. And the alphas always seem to get their guy or make the move. Doesn't mean they're always right. but they make it happen. The Nons never do. And that's Joe Cronin.
Yeah.
That's the Blazers.
Yeah.
They're just, dude, as inexperienced as he is, I don't know what the rest of the league thinks of him, but I can't imagine it's much when they get on the horn with him. And that's a problem. When you're trying to negotiate, that's a problem.
A lot of it is relationships, right? And
I mean, listen to him.
It's certainly, as someone said, I'm already uninspired. Yeah, said it's like listening to the GM version of Jonathan Smith.
I mean, how much? And that raises a whole nother question, which we don't need to get into. But how much polish do you want out of your GM? Right? Do you want him to be a little bit more put together like Neil O'Shea was, and a little more full of crap? At least spinning it like Neil O'Shea was, or he seems like a very sort of normal, down to earth type of guy.
Yeah, Mark Helfrich.
But boy,
So said I'd trade the whole roster for Danny Ainge.
I would too. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, it can be frustrating, and the sad part is that as fun as this is right now, and like these last 10 games have been a lot of fun. It certainly has gotten my attention. I've watched more of the last 10 games than I have probably the previous 30.
You know what that's going to get you?
Nothing.
Well, it's going to
Get you
get
the 10th seed.
It's going to get you your coach leaving for another job.
Probably, and it's going to leave you with the 10th or 12th best, player in the draft, and that again, rinse and repeat. And it's what I've said all along is nothing matters until you get a gravitational player, until you get an actual star.
That's right.
And that is,
We're on the same page there.
and I don't know where that comes from.
Wake me up when that happens. Otherwise, we're talking
Yeah.
football.
Yeah.
What?